May 11th, 9:40 a.m. High Court of Khura'in. Accused lobby. Wasn't able to find any conclusive evidence yesterday, but if I can figure out Lady Kira's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe... Nick, today well, don't look so down, Maya. I'm gonna defend you with everything I've got. You would do well to seize this insanity while you still can. Oh. As I said yesterday, I'm going to defend my client in court. Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred last time. The moment she is found guilty, you too will be found guilty of abetting the accused. I never claimed to be a miracle maker, but I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found. The truth, you say? Huh. And then it seems you have chosen your fate. This shall be... your very last trial. Nick. I'm gonna prove you innocent, Maya. You'll see. After all, you have to introduce the Plume Punisher, warrior of Neo-Twilight Realm, to the folks back home, right? Right. Maybe I defended this time. But I'll be by your side like always, Nick. Thanks, Maya. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. May 11th, High Court of Khura'in.
Let the trial of Maya Fey begin.
The defense is ready, Your Majesty. Huh?
Quiet! Can't you see Prosecutor Sadmadi is absorbed in silent prayer?
Great. The trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me. He's very devout for a prosecutor.
Why is the accused standing over there?
Oh, well... Your Majesty, in addition to being the accused, she is also my assistant.
The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well then. A criminal does indeed make a fitting partner to a lawyer with a defiled soul.
That wasn't very nice. Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyers seems to be a custom of sorts here in Khura'in.
I must say, I am surprised to see you still here in Khura'in, Mr. Wright. And even more so, to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial.
The answer is simple, Your Majesty. I am a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now.
Such foolishness. Oh, Prosecutor Sadmadi! Are you ready to begin now?
Yes, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim attain salvation.
Oh, splendid! I would expect nothing less of you, Prosecutor Sadmadi.
Please save the victim's soul, Prosecutor Sadmadi.
Punish the wicked lawyer who dares to stop these last rites.
I think I'll pass on that whole fire and brimstone deal. But I'm not surprised by your words or stance, considering what Apollos told me about you. So, it was you who instilled that putrid lore legal within him?
Putrid? What?
He too must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead, so that he will not be lonely when he arrives. Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. Nervous, Maya? A little. Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this on court. In court. Too bad I'm the defendant. Don't worry. We haven't lost the case together yet. You're right. Let's give this everything we've got, Nick. Except for the mad on guard trial.
Now then, Prosecutor's Body, would you please explain the case at hand?
Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with the crime of murder. The victim of her heinous crime was High Priest Taros Tinmi. He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain.
And the cause of death?
Let us review the victim's autopsy report and the crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was likely the war-bar dagger which was used in the rite. However, the weapon has yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched.
A sacred relic used as a tool of murder. The Holy Mother's wrath shall be most severe.
The murder itself took place at the height of the purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Kira's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as a high priest of Koreanism. During the rite, the victim and accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey.
Ooh, I must say, that does cast a great deal of suspicion about the accused. Upon the accused.
Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence in this case. In Koreanism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged into the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling. There she should be tickled without end for 500 million years.
That is a terrible fate indeed. Would the defense care to respond?
And here I thought the lowest level of hell was the hell of back pain. I don't remember killing anyone, and I don't have that dagger or anything like it. As my client stated, she has no memory of the event as described by the prosecution. But more importantly, she had no motive to kill the high priest in the first place.
Objection.
I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be made clear by her benevolence, Rayfa Padma Karane's insight. For all will be made clear by her benevolence, Rayfa Padma Karane's insight.
So it is, and so it shall be. The Divination Séance reveals the truth for all to see.
Here we go again.
Bailiff, please show in the royal priestess.
It's Princess Rayfa! Oh, how beautiful her benevolence looks again today.
Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day.
As popular as ever, I see. Rest assured, good people of Korean, I will defeat this murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape on their Freedom Express today.
What a joy it is to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor. Urdihara Kuren.
She sure looks pleased with herself. Especially for someone who didn't know what a Freedom Express was until yesterday. Is there something stuck to my face, bobbed head? Well, actually,
Nothing, your benevolence.
Now then, your benevolence. The Divination Séance, if you please.
very well. Nina, my robe.
O Holy Mother, We hold this divination séance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Wait, was he dragged into her, or was she gliding towards him? What was that?
The victim's Mitaba has spoken. The Divination Séance is complete.
Great! Another clearly incriminating Saya's vision.
It could not be any clearer, O foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Kira, then attacked the victim.
Oh, how very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Kira lit against the dim lantern light. The scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew near. One could almost sense the horror a bit in me was felt.
The facts as presented by her benevolence are indisputable.
But that wasn't me! Do something, Nick!
I'm working on it. It couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm in for another uphill battle. The accused committed this vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite. Come to think of it, the rite's guide explains the multi-part purification rite in detail. The transformation rite. The high priest reads the scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kira. The rite of water. Lady Kira enters the spring and the high priest purifies her along with her dagger. The rite of fire. The priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. Indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring. Therefore, the accused must have attacked him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Bob Ted, would you care to object? Of course, because I know my client is innocent. So you say. You truly do not know when you are beaten, do you? I managed to pull it off last time with Elby. I'll just have to do it again.
You wanted to find fault with her benevolence's insight yet again? It would seem lawyers are Polkunan creatures indeed.
Look at that Polkunan! Polkunan! Polkunan!
What exactly is a Polkunan? Someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak. They can call me anything they want. The only thing I care about is uncovering the truth. So, Bobhead, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave. The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from our world. That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Kira, the accused rushed the victim head-on. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer. Yes, it is plain for all to see. No, it was me! A sudden drowsiness came over me during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on Lady Kira's robes. You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You cannot explain away the truth revealed by the royal priestess's divine insight. Oh, how did you end up finding contradictions last time? The deceased's final memories include all 5 senses. Oh, you mean those words that appeared in the Pool of Souls? Looked to me like the bigger the word, the stronger the sensation was to the victim. Yeah, that's how it looked to me too. The sensations themselves are never wrong, only their interpretations. That's why I tried to point out mistakes in Rayfa's insights the last time. So, there could be contradictions between what Abbott and me felt and her insights, huh? You got it. And I'm gonna find them this time, too. Should I check how to point out contradictions in Rayfa's insights? Nah, I remember how it works. So, the sensations this time seem to fluctuate more than the ones from Albie's trial. In which case, I better keep an eye on changes in their intensity, too. Okay, time to point out the sensations that contradict the insights. Okay, this should be simple enough. Approaching footsteps. Right? If it was the accused getting closer and closer, then the smell of incense should have gotten stronger and stronger. Right? Is that it? Oh, there we go. Oh, hold on. What? Oh, okay. Never mind. The incense is getting stronger. But the sound of footsteps is the same. Right. So it is just as I thought. Yeah, so it was the victim getting dragged towards, or maybe she was floating. Either way, it's a contradiction. So, hold on. Shit. Alright, that should be good enough, right?
Objection!
The victim supposedly heard the accused approaching footsteps. But did he really?
What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear?
No, it's not. Because there is something strange about those footsteps.
Strange? Explain yourself, Bobbed Head.
The footsteps are strange because they're not getting any louder.
And why exactly does that matter?
Please focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. The scent grows stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent of incense grew stronger.
Why, that makes perfect sense. How could this be explained, Your Benevolence?
Well, there must be a reason.
It is as they say, even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn.
What does that even mean?
He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure. Still, we cannot discount this information solely on account of its lawyerly source. Your Benevolence, perhaps you must listen more carefully to the abbot's matama. Listen more carefully? What's he talking about?
Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation.
Refine the sensation?
I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication with the matama.
I didn't know you could do that. Why have you never done this before?
By refining a sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered.
Oh, blessed Matama, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call.
Footsteps changed into bells? What could this mean?
Bells, but the only bells at the scene of the crime were... Ah, that jingling must have come from Abbot Emmy's bells.
You mean those big things he had on his ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of bells was from the high priest's own footsteps.
Then that means...
If the footstep belonged to the victim himself, it means it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who went running toward the broken lantern from the spring. A far cry from what her benevolence's insight would have us believe.
But why would the victim have approached the accused?
Maybe he was trying to defend himself.
Please explain.
He could have felt threatened by Lady Kira standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have thought to overpower her before she attacked.
Still your voices. This is nothing but a theory, and a poor one at that. Be not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation.
While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself, Your Benevolence.
Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Satmati?
Even if it was Abbot Enemy who moved,
It does not negate the accused's crime. What do you mean?
the accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach. And as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that. Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it?
Yes, it is as the prosecutor had said. In fact, it is as I meant to say all along as well.
Right, and that's why you were so shocked when you first heard it.
Understand now, lawyer? That contradiction you conjured up has come to naught.
Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun. Not sure about that.
See, the fact that it was Abbot Emmy who moved changes nothing.
Arring, come on, Phoenix, you gotta keep your cool.
That contradiction I pointed out must mean something. That one sensation changed after Princess Rayfa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights. Okay. First part, transformation ended. He lowered the sutra suddenly. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. Can you tell it's broken or not? I don't know. Okay. Suddenly the victim felt an intense pain. Vision dimmed. He finally passed from our world. Oh! Water! What? His vision dimmed. Sound. You heard the sound of water? What? Okay, that's weird, but what does this contradict? Which part of the insight does this contradict? Sound of water. Slight blitz spilled over, his vision dimmed. Okay, maybe... Okay, contradict this with this?
Objection!
Not sure about that. Okay. Your benevolence, isn't the statement inconsistent with the division? Inconsistent? I think not. Exactly. That's where this inconsistency lies.
No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies.
Or guess there was an inconsistency there after all. Okay. He bows. He reads the sutra. He puts the sutra down. He runs towards... Even though he's clearly not in a defense stance.
Objection!
Oh, okay. Hold it. How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to? That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and the Academy would have adhered to them. Well, that's strange.
Mr. Wright, would you go to explain just what is so strange?
Yes, I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point. What's this? It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water. Oh? Yes, and the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction. What contradiction? I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring.
This is absurd!
This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates.
Then, where do you propose the accused stood when she donned the Lady Kira's robes?
Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing... Maya? What? Oh, she was already in the spring? I'm not sure. Okay. Until this moment, we have all just assumed that Abedemi and Miss Fey were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in this rights guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in front. However, if that is how they really were standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fey had actually been standing in the water.
But if this is true, then their positions would have completely been reversed. What is going on here, Miss Fey? Were you really standing in the spring?
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the rite.
Our priest would never make such an obvious blunder during a rite.
What on earth? Is that even possible?
Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights. It doesn't. Let us say the accused was standing in the spring. So what? So what? This completely reverses their positions is what? That is, that their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not raise the accused's brutal crime.
I guess you have a point there.
You lawyers are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Sounds like Princess Rayfa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about. Oh, Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? Huh. I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth. The victim commenced... Oh. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he paused from our world. Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Nick? Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence insights have no further inadequacies of any kind.
Yes, so it would seem.
Wait a second, but there is another contradiction. Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here. Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rayfa's insights. That's right, we now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram in the core record, and confirm where Maya and Abedemi were standing, and then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and the insights. I think I already have an idea what to do. There we go.
Objection!
Oh. Never mind. Your benevolence isn't the statement inconsistent with the vision? Inconsistent? I think not. Exactly. That's where this inconsistency lies.
No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies.
Or guess there was an inconsistency there after all.
How do we prove that that this is the broken lantern? Sight?
Objection!
Oh. Well, okay. Close enough. Your benevolence, I found a new contradiction. You did? Huh. No doubt it is but another one of your vile attempts to slander my insights. Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. It just might change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering. There's nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind has stirred. No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue. I fail to see your point. My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards, so neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place. Huh. She seems pretty tickled, Nick. I don't remember saying anything funny. I failed to see what you wish to prove here, but... very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. Oh, blessed Mitama, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there. Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it. And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the rite of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame flickering. Say what?! But when we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, Defense. We could not risk them being extinguished, even during an investigation. That would never fly back home. Well, Bobhead, are you done quibbling? If so, then it is time to bow down before this testimony of the Mitama. Nick, don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Alright, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kira's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving towards her, so I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. I won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. Springside Lantern. Bell's Water Pain. Okay. The only thing I can think of is the direction where the wind is blowing. If the flame is blowing like westward, I don't know where north and south is though. Where's the diagram? Like, maybe it should be flowing the other way? Sound of wind?
Objection!
Your benevolence isn't the same as with vision? Inconsistent. I think not. Exactly. That's where the inconsistency lies.
No, I believe it is in the defensive thought process that the inconsistency lies.
I guess there wasn't any consistency there after all. Victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As the first part of the transformation rite ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the springside lantern. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this was when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from our world. I'm not seeing it. I don't know what I'm supposed to contradict on here. Springside lantern. Okay. What am I supposed to see here? His life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed, till finally he passed from our world. Suddenly... What's the transformation rite? Letter, blood loss from dental wound. There's Sanctum. I don't know what I'm supposed to notice here. I'm kind of lost. Sound of wind, sound of bells, intense pain. Looks pretty intense, yeah. Vision dimmed until finally found somewhere. So the faces of first fight, Lord of Sutra. Bowing to the lanterns and reading Sutra. Swing side lantern. So that's a focus. Bow to the lanterns. Wasn't he supposed to bow to all lanterns? Is there anything unique about these lanterns? Does their shape give away something? This one looks different. Is this the broken lantern? Looks different. Yeah. Yeah, it is the broken lantern. So, what the hell is going on here? But what does this contradict? Oh, is this gonna prove that this is not the Springside lantern? Fuck off.
Objection!
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What could this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the inside, but this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building.
Are you alright, Mr. Wright? One minute you shout out, and in the next you fall silent.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is battling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor Satmati? Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you've built so far, the only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found. It said so. The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight. Does it now? One of the lanterns on the ancient side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abadimi saw in his final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in the seance vision. How could this be? And even if it was so, how would that contradict my insights? I don't know. Let me start by saying the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far.
Will the defense please explain himself?
Based on the broken lanterns, we can tell what? Where the accused and the victim were standing.
But did you not just finish saying that the accused was standing somewhere else?
I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing.
I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility might come into question.
I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing.
Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing.
Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing?
Take that!
I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom. Does that not bring us back to the very beginning? No, this is where things take a different turn. And I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned towards the accused. What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision. Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now.
No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big?
There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was in fact turning around in that moment.
Objection.
If it is as his defense asserts, then her benevolence's insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that?
Objection.
I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Sadmati. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error. Such insolence?
A huge error, you say? Do explain.
The huge error is... I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed. This cannot be. Oh, but it can, and it is. The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead. Po.
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 Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Have I misunderstood the voice of the Matama? Yet again. This cannot be. Phew, that was a close one. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the sound's vision somehow. I should add these new facts to the core record. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Sadmati?
My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I've learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance.
Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry.
Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he has come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who's solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh?
Now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kira was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal princess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct?
Yes, of course. This third party must have really wanted to kill the High Priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of their murderous intent.
Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright.
The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is... It's either this one or this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one.
Take that!
3 days before the purification rite, The victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual.
He did?
Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, "Do not perform the rite," but the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself.
Peace. I don't understand. I heard that the Lady Kira has been in the news of late only hunted rebels. If so, why would you have killed the High Priest?
Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the High Priest had secretly been a rebel?
The High Priest? He couldn't possibly have been a rebel.
The High Priest, a devout follower of Quirinism, a rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you?
I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible.
Objection.
The third party was the rebel hunting Lady Kira, and the High Priest was a rebel. Your mockery of Quirinism, no, of the kingdom of Korean itself knows no bounds.
Oops. That shameless Polkokan lawyer.
He's making a mockery of our religion.
As a faithful Quirinist, I take issue with his claims, and I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings.
I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya? Even if he was a distinguished monk and very well respected too, so yeah.
Ooh, please don't let this turn into an international incident.
But fear not, good people of Korean. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to study the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged. But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he had his back turned towards Miss Fey? Someone else must have killed him.
Objection.
Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The comic flow of this trial is, as yet, still in my hands. How can he be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. An eyewitness?
Very well, let us call this eyewitness to the stand.
Uh-oh. It's him again.
Well now, he has to be the shaggiest witness I have ever laid eyes upon. Please state your name and occupation.
That's so-and-so, whatchamacallit.
Ho. Ho. Yeah. Anonymous TBD. At least that's what they've been calling me. TBD? As in, to be determined? Can't you just tell us your real name? Your real name?
The witness has suffered a blow to the head, rendering him amnesiac. Therefore, I named him Anonymous TBD as in my report, but he thinks TBD is part of his name.
Objection!
You're letting an amnesiac testify? Have no fear. I've already questioned him at length. While it is true he has utterly forgotten his name and past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact.
Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be of help. Therefore, I will be pretty sensible. Now, Mr. Imus, please tell us what you saw.
Are letting retards take the stand now? Okay. I'm gonna take a quick break and maybe I'll figure out, maybe I'll decide on a voice to give him, because right now it's just a big mess. I'll be back. Alright. Oh. Here I was thinking that I'd have to spend the next 30 minutes trying to prove that someone else could have been there at the top of, well, not at the top, but at the inner sanctum during the time of the murder. But turns out Prosecutor Sadmati did my job for me. Apparently there was an eyewitness there all along. How convenient. and he doesn't remember anything but the events of the crime that took place. How convenient. He doesn't know what his name is, but he knows exactly what happened. Okay. Alright, well, as far as giving him a voice goes, I'm gonna try one last time to do the Forrest Gump voice, and if that doesn't work out, then I'm just gonna do one of those generic accents. And that should be it. I don't know. I tried. That night I was up at the top of Mount Ponde, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace. I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around, I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger. Yay! There's no way you saw Miss Fey stab the victim with a dagger. I swear I don't know what he's talking about. Or don't remember at any rate.
But Puddy, the beautiful mountain that is also known as the Little Sanctum.
You must be talking about that smaller mountain from the poster.
Mr. Amos, I was wondering,
What can I do you for?
the inner sanctum lies at a high elevation where clouds and fog can obscure the view. Are you sure you were able to see what happened from the mountaintop next to it?
Good point. His Majesty raises an excellent question. Well, Mr. Amos?
I dialed alright, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. I had a perfect view. If you don't believe me, check the weather forecast in the paper that day.
Nick, don't we have the newspaper for that day? Yeah, let's take a look. It does say calm, clear skies, doesn't it? The warmer temperature will make for excellent prayer weather. Be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front move in overnight.
See? Told you so! Doi. Well, it would appear the witnesses of a testimony worth hearing.
Mr. Amos, I too have a question for you. Didn't he already question the witness?
Well, that's what I'm here for, right? Shoot.
How was the accused holding the dagger? Was she holding it underhanded, its blade protruding from the bottom of the hand?
Yep, I believe she was. It's called a reverse grip.
Ah, I thought as much. Hold it right there. What bearing does that have on this case? Cease your interruptions, you putrid-headed lawyer. Do not see the significance in how the blade was held. Why don't you enlighten me, oh enlightened one? I knew you were a fool. I can already picture you in your next life. Next life? Yes, after your soul writhes for centuries in the pits of hell. You shall be reborn as a witless sea urchin with barbs limited to your posterior. You shall live a short, inconsequential life, only to be brutally devoured by a sea otter. That was a bit excessive. I simply asked what the dagger grip had to do with the case. Now pay attention. How the accused held the dagger is of vital importance. With such information, we can infer exactly what actions she took. You were saying that the victim was killed while he had his back to the accused. Is that correct? Yes. As such, the accused's dagger grip tells us something very important. The accused approached the victim from behind, swung her arms around him, and plunged the dagger deep into his abdomen using a reverse grip.
What?
Thus, Mr. Amos' testimony clears up any doubts that might remain.
Ha ha ha! And it coincides with her benevolence's insights as well.
This is a disaster. I thought I'd blown those insides out of the water, but now they're back to haunt me.
Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Not sure about that, but then again, I really can't prove that that's not what happened, so... Looks like we're back to square one.
At night, I was up at the top of Mount Pony Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum.
Hold it!
Are you sure you're not mistaken, Mr. Amos? Was it really Mount Pony Pony that you climbed?
Oh, I'm sure of it. It was a really bunny-ish mountain.
What does that even mean?
You know, now that I think about it, it was a mighty fine view. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace.
Hold it!
If you hate crowds, why bother climbing to the top? Couldn't you have just as easily prayed at the top, at the bottom of Mount Pony Pony?
Wrong, Bucko. This is a once-a-year epic event. I wanted to pray as close to an actual thing as possible.
If you're so gung-ho about it, why didn't you go pray at the Plaza of Devotion?
Like I said, I hate crowds. I wanted to pray in peace.
Oh, Holy Mother, why do I only get the annoying ones?
And my burning faith demanded that I climb up the mountain closer to inner sanctum. Also, I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around...
Hold it!
Since nobody was around, there is nobody who can corroborate your actions either.
You're exactly right!
In that case, Mr. Amos, let me ask you this. Was there a reason you didn't want to be seen?
About that, if you get caught climbing the surrounding mountains on the day of the ride, you can get in big trouble.
That's it?
Yeah, it's only embarrassing getting yelled at when you're a grown-up.
Yeah, you're a real grown-up, alright.
And since nobody was around, I lost all inhibition and... I used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum.
Hold it!
You had a pair of binoculars with you? That's pretty convenient. You weren't planning to spy on the right all along, were you?
Actually, I just happened to have them for bird watching.
Bird watching, huh? I see. You're not going to keep pressing him on this. He's sketchy as heck, but I don't really have anything I can really sink my teeth into yet. Oh, okay then.
I love the great outdoors. That's just the kind of guy I am. A guy called Anonymous TBD.
He's really starting to get on my nerves.
As I looked through my binoculars, I couldn't believe what was unfolding before me. That's where I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger.
Hold it!
Did you really see what you say you Did you really see what you say you saw you did? You did with...
Are you saying I'm lying about this? Well, I'm not. It's etched permanently in this old noggin.
But I didn't do what you say I did. I didn't even get a chance to touch the dagger on the day of the rite.
All I know is what I saw. I've never even seen you before in my life. What possible reason could I have to lie?
I didn't expect there to be any witnesses way up there. But I don't remember doing that at all. I know. I have a feeling the witness is lying. There has to be an inconsistency somewhere in his testimony. I should take another look at the court record. What could it be? Oh. Overnight, there's gonna be a cold front, so the sky won't be clear. Is that it? Oh, there's also curtains. Yeah, there's also curtains all around. So that too. Curtain around the perimeter of the Sanctum, isolating it from the outside world. The entrance was shut during the rite. Oh, but yeah, you could probably see someone stabbing someone from there. Okay, never mind. So do the curtains close? Oh, the curtains do close. Right? Looks like it. Thick white ice that froze the ground from near saying the positive voice, but yesterday has melted. Do I present the curtain or do I present... The entrance was shut during the rite. There you go. The entrance was shut during the rite. So that should be good enough. But which statement do we present it on? Let's try presenting it here.
Objection!
Okay. So maybe on the binoculars part.
Objection!
There we go. Your Majesty, I had my doubts about this bushy-bearded witness, but now I know we can't trust him.
What? You ain't just judging me solely on my bodacious beard, are ya?
Not at all, Mr. Amos. It's much more than your sketchy appearance. It's your sketchy testimony.
Is that somebody you say?
Yes. Recall how the inner sanctum was that day? Specifically that it was completely enclosed by the ritual curtain?
Why, yes, I believe you're right.
The curtain would have completely blocked the witness's view from Mount Panipani. Therefore, he couldn't possibly have seen the murder happen.
Mr. Amos, have you been knowingly making false statements to the court? You got me! The witness will lower his voice! I didn't actually see the accused herself.
He didn't actually see the accuser herself.
What's that supposed to mean? Let me set the record straight, I beg you.
Good.
I saw the shadowy silhouette projected against the ritual curtain. The figures were created by the light of the moon on that clear and still night. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger.
How do you know it was reverse gripped? Shadows? That's what you saw?
That's right. I could see what was going on by the shadows projected onto the ritual curtain. In the future, Mr. Amos, I would rather you offer up accurate testimony from the start. Forgive me, my main man, Mr. Majesty. Chalk it up to my fuzzy memory.
Though he saw but shadows, it is still valuable testimony. You have to be kidding me. What are we gonna do now, Nick? All I can think of is to look for inconsistency between the actual rite and what Mr. Emus said he saw. Says he saw.
Now then, the first may cross-examine the witness once more.
Alright. I'll be back. Alright. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to think that this over-the-top, stupid, selective memory having, scruffy bearded, barely able to see his facial features fella, I'm starting to suspect that he's trying to hide something. But that's just my opinion. Also, the fact that he's dressed in army fatigues doesn't help either.
I saw the shot you said it was projected against a visual curtain.
Hold it!
So what you saw were simply shadows.
That's right. Those shadow figures on that bright white curtain, they showed through plain as day. I could see everything that happened.
But Miss Fey and Abinimi were at the top of a mountain late at night. The only light up there was coming from 4 small lanterns. How could the shadows have been projected that clearly onto the curtain?
No wonder people harp on you lawyers. You're always so dang skeptical. Lanterns weren't the only sources of light, you know. The figures were created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night.
Hold it!
You claim to have seen shadowy figures that were projected onto the original curtain? But did you really see them, Mr. Amos?
Of course I did. A bright moonlight projected them onto that curtain, clear as day. It was like watching a scene out of a horror movie from my front row seat on Mount Party Bunny.
I guess the moon does shine a bit brighter when you're way up there. Maya, do you recall how bright the moon was that night?
I remember there weren't any clouds, and that the moon was definitely out,
but I don't remember if it could cast any shadows. Okay, thanks. Can't deny that the moon was really bright, which means it's possible that it was bright enough to cause shadows to appear.
I remember it just like it happened. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused, reverse gripping that dagger.
Hold it!
Hang on, how do you know it was Miss Fey, if all you saw were shadows?
It was a real bun on top of her head. Didn't need to see her face. That distinctive bob's a dead giveaway. Never underestimate my keen sense of observation. Now that's one funny haircut.
It's not nice to make fun of a girl's hairstyle. I like my hair this way. Besides, you're one to talk, you squatch.
You're not into this wild, manly look I'm sporting? Shows what you know, little girl.
Nick, is there some kind of crime you can charge him with? I'm afraid it doesn't work that way. Now he claims he only saw shadows. He says someone has sketchy written all over it. There must be an inconsistency in there somewhere. Yep. Was he really watching everything from Mount Pani? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the rite. Yeah. Subtle.
Objection!
Oh, what?
Is something the matter?
Sorry.
that scream just sort of slipped out.
I don't know about trials in your country, but we refrain from such a rash outburst here. Perhaps this will deter any future urges you might have.
I'm not helping my case in the judge's eyes, both literally and figuratively. What? Okay. I thought it was pretty obvious. The weather was gonna turn bad at night, so there you go. What am I missing? The water in the spring was already stained red when Amended and Maya arrived at the inner sanctum. Oh yeah, we haven't even gone there. Arrow, inner sanctum, Pawnee. Envelope, one poster.
No, stop it. I don't want to see that. What? What am I missing? Clear and still night. Clear and still night. What? What am I missing here? Let's see a cold front move in overnight. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that the weather, the skies won't be clear. Once again, I'm lost. Where does it say that it was a reverse grip? That's what I'm looking for right now. How did he know that it was specifically a reverse grip? Oh, is it really as simple as the angle of where the Sanctum is in relation to where the mountain is? He couldn't see who stabbed who? Okay, is that what we're supposed to do here? Okay, let me save again. I don't know why, but just in case. I didn't make any progress, but okay. So Oh no. This is a piece of evidence. Anything come to mind? Well?
Did the defense have something he would like to say?
What? What the hell am I missing here? Okay, so it's not that? What? On the weather, Lady Kira projected against the ritual curtain. Oh, maybe present. Okay, maybe present the photo here.
Objection!
No. What? Okay, that didn't work either. Okay, so the angle is fine apparently. He was looking through binoculars and he saw everything. Okay. So there's no problem with that statement. So where's the problem? Ritual curtain. Envelope. Okay. Maybe we need to press on all the statements again.
Hold it!
See if anything changes. Simply shadows. Say. Okay.
Hold it!
Moonlight. Shine way up there. Remember the moon. Could have a possibility. Okay.
Hold it!
Oh, 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 I get it, I get it, I get it. If she was in the Lady Kira costume, then he wouldn't be able to notice that hairstyle, the top knot. Okay, great. We found the contradiction. But how do we prove the rights guide, maybe? Okay, let's try that.
Objection!
Something to butter? Sorry, that's just okay. Maybe not the rights guide. Maybe maybe the crime photo with the costume next to it. Yeah?
Objection!
No. How do we show that she was wearing a costume during the stabbing? My statement, Lady Kira's warning, Mount Rage poster. The fuck? Okay, so it's not even that. It's not the fact that she was wearing a mask. Even though that's a contradiction. How can he see the top knot? Maybe he saw it before she put the mask on, I guess. Make sure. Let me present the newspaper.
Objection!
Okay, so it's not even that. It's just the positioning of where everyone was. Okay. So we do this?
Objection!
No? What the fuck do we do? What am I gonna do? Maybe it's the wrong statement? No. She was a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger. I don't know. What's going on? I already tried to present the rights guide. Okay. Now he claims he only saw shadows. Says someone has sketchy written all over it. And there must be an inconsistency in there somewhere. Yep. Was he really watching everything from Mount Pani Pani? Was he really watching everything from Mount Pani Pani? If so, then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of the right. Conditions of the right. Conditions of the right. Conditions of the right. When the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pani Pani. Okay. What is that? What does that mean? Still night. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Alright, hold on. Let's try this then. I don't think we've tried presenting the rights guide to the full moon. Oh! Give me a break. You saw silhouettes projected by the moonlight? Sorry, but that's just not possible.
What do you mean? How is it not possible that it was totally possible? That's impossible!
I think I'm gonna need a logical ease translation on that. Let's take a look at this rights guide, shall we, Mr. Imus? The right is held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pani Pani.
Doot doot doot.
So, if the moon was shining from the west, any shadows would have been cast eastward. But Mr. Emus was standing to the west of the inner sanctum on Mount Pani Pani.
Oh, holy mother!
That's right. Our witness here couldn't have seen any shadowy figures on that curtain.
No way! Perhaps it was the sacred flames of the letters that cast the shadows he saw?
I'm afraid not. I inspected them during my investigation, but the flames were too small to cast the crisp, distinct figures Mr. Emus claims to have seen.
But I did see those ones, really!
How could he, Nick? Maybe it was someplace where they were visible. Wait, don't tell me. Your Majesty? Mr. Emus really did see those shadows. It brings a brand new fact to light.
And that would be?
The brand new fact that comes to light if Mr. Emus really did see those shadows is... he wasn't where he claimed to be at the time of the murder.
Toot. Oh, then what do you propose the witness was?
Someplace where he could have seen the shadow figures, naturally. Wait, you mean... none of the mountains east of the inner sanctum are close enough for a good view. That leaves only one place you could have clearly seen the shadows from.
And what might that be?
This is where Mr. Emus was at the time of the murder. I want to see how that goes. He was at the high priest's home.
And just how do you propose that he saw those certain curtain shadows from there?
The witness must be clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant? Is this true, Mr. Emus?
Do I look like a psychic nut job to you?
Not a psychic one, at any rate.
Oh, that wasn't that funny. All right. Mr. Emus was at the inner sanctum, just outside the curtain on the east side. That's the only place from which he could have seen the shadowy figures. Really? Wow, I didn't even think of that.
What was it, the inner sanctum off limits to all but the victim and the accused?
And the third party who was there, you mean? I get the feeling that's a subject Prosecutor Sadmati would rather not touch right now.
Oh, you mean...
That's right. This witness was at the scene of the crime, which means he is the mysterious third party we saw during the Divination Séance. He could be the one who dressed as Lady Kira and killed the High Priest.
Cookie! What?
Objection.
No one but the two participants were allowed anywhere near the inner sanctum, and the only way up there are the stairs that start down at the Plaza of Devotion. So tell me, how do you propose the witness entered that sacred space?
Oh, he must have... I haven't thought that far ahead. The sanctum has sheer cliffs on the three sides and a steep towering rock face on the other. No one could have made it there by climbing the faces of those cliffs.
His Majesty speaks true. To say Mr. Emus was at such an inaccessible location is but a bit to tarnish his credibility. Is that not right?
Right! I was at the inner sanctum. No sword, no how. At least I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Hold it.
Then what about those silhouettes you claim to have seen?
I'm starting to think I'm imagining things.
What?
This is insane!
I knew we couldn't trust that lawyer. He's right in front of the witness.
Peace! Peace, I say!
This is impossible. Unless I can show how he got to the inner sanctum, it just looks like I'm trying to slander Mr. Emus. I believe in it, Nick. Rah, rah, sis bomba, fight, fight, Phoenix right.
Just look at the accused. Has she no shame?
What's your problem, lady? Phoenix Wright is very trustworthy, I'll have you know.
She's got some nerve for a criminal. I bet that lawyer posted her mind.
Please, Maya, you're only making it worse. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's probably best to keep it to yourself for now.
I would advise the defense to think carefully before making any more sudden outbursts.
Yes, Your Majesty. I wasn't a bad guy before, I definitely am now. Now, Mr. Amos, I would like you to think back carefully before you testify next about where you were that night. What? Another testimony, huh? Alright, we're getting through these pretty quickly.
I was never a data sanctum, I tell you. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Boy, your lawyers sure are scary.
I guess it might have been impossible for him to get to the inner sanctum like he claims, but... Now, will you desist in trying to frame this innocent witness?
Yeah, and let's see you explain how he got up there.
Mr. Wright, is it not time to end these crazy examinations?
A moment of desperation leads to 100 million years of torment. It means that for each moment a sinner spent struggling to deny their sins, 100 million years of torment are added to their time in hell. Creatism is the strictest religion ever! And just so you know, you've already accrued 200 million extra years. Plus the 5 they started with,
That's 700 million years of torment.
sure, what's another 200 million, give or take? Well, it's a big deal to me. I can't keep saying that the witness was there at the inner sanctum if I can't prove it. The problem is, how am I going to do that? Alright. Another quick break and I'll be right back. Alright, so if it's still not if it still hasn't dawned on some people yet, I believe that Mr. TBD here is the prisoner that escaped the maximum security facility. He is in fact Mr. Dots Arabal, and he was a former paratrooper. Could this... Oh. Could this be a makeshift parachute, then? But, no. How would that make sense? Because the summit of Pani Pani is lower than... But, you know what? He's right. There's no... Oh. Right. There's no stairs that connect the prison to the inner sanctum. But he could have parachuted from the prison, which is even higher up, and then parachuted from there to the inner sanctum. Yeah. So basically, we know that he's the escaped prisoner, Dots Arabal, but we just have to find a way to prove it.
I was never out there sanctum, I tell you.
Are you sure you weren't there?
All I'm sure of is that you're deeply skeptical. Hey, Mr. Pascal, are all lawyers always like this?
Most certainly. They always try to pin crumbs on innocent witnesses without any proof whatsoever. They aren't no better than bacteria or viruses.
Yikes! You mean he's contagious? He's gonna give me lawyer riders!
Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Whew, that was a close one. He almost put me there on the scene of the crime when I wasn't even there. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory.
You just said your memory was fuzzy.
I sure did. What's the big deal?
I'll tell you what, your testimony isn't very credible if your memory of the events is fuzzy.
Oh, no worries there. My memory might be fuzzy, but I'm very clear on one thing. Here we go again. If you ask me whether or not I remember what I did that night, I'd say I do. In short, you are confident that your testimony is true. Is that correct, Mr. Amos? Exactly. Guess you don't get to be a judge for nothing. So in closing, I can clearly say that I was totally not there. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place.
Hold it!
I wonder if it really was impossible for you to get to the inner sanctum. If you have something to say, just say it. Couldn't there have been another way to get there? A way that wouldn't attract attention?
No, there isn't.
Which means there is.
Perhaps the difference would share its theory with us?
I don't even have a wild guess, let alone a theory, though. Time to reach into my bag of bluffs. To reach the inner sanctum without attracting any attention... Maybe you fell from the sky.
The lawyer thinks he's a comedian now.
I was wondering what crazy theory you would propose next. Well, defense, let's hear it. Mr. Amos could have, parachuted down. We already know the weather was clear and there was no wind to speak of.
Perfect weather for skydiving, I'd say.
Now that you have been backed into a corner, your delusions grow ever more delusional. The inner sanctum is on a tiny ledge upon a sheer cliff over 2,000 meters tall. One misstep and a skydiver would soon find themselves in the Twilight Realm.
Yeah, I don't care how still the wind was. Even I couldn't have made that jump.
Wait, what's this building on top of the sacred mountain? That is the Royal Penitentiary number 4. Oh, right. Princess Rayfa mentioned there was a prison up there. How do you get your prisoners up there anyway?
By helicopter, but only with authorization from the Minister of Justice.
He is the only one who can approve flights that pass over the inner sanctum. Might also add, defense, that no parachute or any other equipment necessary for skydiving have been found.
Are you saying I flew down there by flapping my arms? I may be an incredible dude, but even I'm not capable of that.
Well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Amos.
It's not like I can fly through the air either.
Hold it!
You wouldn't need to flap your arms if you had some gear. As I have already stated, nothing of the sort was found in or around the scene of the crime.
I'd sure like to see some of that so-called gear you're talking about.
I know, but was there really nothing like that at the inner sanctum? What if there was something that could have been used as a parachute? I should give the evidence another look.
You continue to claim that the witness was at the inner sanctum. Yet said claim shall remain with a claim without any supporting evidence, Mr. Wright.
Yes, I realize that, Your Majesty. If I can't find any inconsistencies, I guess I can always try to elicit some more testimony.
Boy, you lawyers sure are scary.
Now hold on, lawyers aren't scary.
Why are you saying I was at the inner sanctum when I wasn't? Anyone who tried to frame an innocent man like that is scary in my book.
Oh yes, I'm scary!
Lawyers are scary! It's a setup. It's definitely a setup.
I'm not trying to set anyone up. I'm going to provide evidence and explain exactly how it is done. The God already speaks true. They know the depths of a lawyer's sin and the poverty of his virtue.
There may be some bad apples, but we're not all like that, you know.
Don't worry, Nick. I'll still root for you, no matter how morally bankrupt you become. Thanks a bunch, Maya. Mr. Amos wasn't at the inner sanctum, or more precisely, couldn't get there. I don't see a way out of this. Yeah, these kinds of debates only get worse if you argue them the wrong way. I'll have to pry some conclusive testimony out of him, and then present some evidence. Like when you're trying to catch frogs from a pond.
Once you've got a grip on one, you'd better hold on tight. Right. Something like that. There we go. Save just to make sure. And...
Objection!
Kabooyah. Mr. Emus is right. He couldn't have skydived down there without any gear.
Why now? Finally come around, have ya? Now you see that I could have possibly been there at the Inner Sanctum.
Right. If you didn't have any gear, that is.
What on earth are you talking about?
That overreaction is a dead giveaway that I'm on the right track. Take a look at this piece of evidence.
Those are prayer flags, are they not?
Yes, but they have been sewn together to create one big banner. A banner that could also function like a parachute. The people of Crane are so used to seeing prayer flags that the police didn't even think twice about these flags during their investigation. No, this cannot be. The witness landed at the Inner Sanctum by using these prayer flags as a parachute. Is that not right, Mr. Emus?
There's no way out. I'm surrounded.
Mr. Amos?
All this talk shocked my memory. I guess I was there at the Inner Sanctum after all.
As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night. You did it, Nick. You weren't wrong after all. Thanks. Mr. Amos, you were there. You were the one disguised as Lady Kira that night, weren't you?
What? No way! No how! Oh, it's like this. Oh yeah. I was only there at the Inner Sanctum by accident.
By accident.
Exactly. And that thing's not a parachute, it's a homemade paraglider.
A paraglider? Are you telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of material?
It may not look like much, but it's as sturdy as it can be. I rode the wing like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. But then something happened that forced me to land at the Inner Sanctum.
So you just happened to land there? You expected me to believe that?
No, please calm yourself, Mr. Wright. However, the fact that the witness was at the Inner Sanctum is crucial testimony indeed. And it certainly warrants further explication. Therefore, let's continue with more testimony.
Alright. Bit by bit. Lie after lie, we're getting to the truth.
That evening I was enjoying a trek to the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as my putty was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the Inner Sanctum. And as I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the Inner Sanctum purely by accident.
Mr. Amos, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning.
Can't be helped. I mean, I'm just remembering it now.
Continue such slipshod testimony and you will be cast into the hell of hangnails, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years.
I think I'll pass on that.
Looks like that caught Prosecutor Sadmani off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. Could it really have been an accident? Were there 4 people in the Inner Sanctum, or was he just full of it?
That evening, I was enjoying a trek to the night sky with my homemade paraglider.
Hold it!
You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider? You didn't go to pray.
Divine creators like me can pray anywhere, even while flying through the sky. but I would recommend you try it. You're bound to end up dead.
A paraglider? I didn't see anything like that.
That's cause of the ritual curtain. It blocked your view. You should have seen me majestically soaring between the mountains.
Really? What do you think, Nick? Don't ask me.
I was really enjoying that flight. At first, anyway. But just as my Putty was drawing near, something terrible happened.
Hold it!
Something terrible happened.
Exactly. And when I say terrible, I mean terrible.
What? What? Was there something unexpected near my potty?
What was it again?
Wait, you don't remember?
Oh, let's just say it was terrible. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum.
Hold it!
What exactly was this accident you had?
Good question. Now, what was it again? Wind? Oh yeah, it was the wind. And not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind made me lose control.
The wind was strong enough to make you lose control.
You got that right.
Okay then, please add that to your testimony.
Gale force winds came out of nowhere, so I made an emergency landing at the sanctum.
Hold it!
Had the wind been blowing the whole time around the mountains?
Yup, just the right amount of wind for paragliding. So that sudden gale force wind was a real shocker.
I see, so a decent wind had been blowing until then.
Right. A paraglider's not much use without a decent wind. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory.
Hold it!
Where at the inner sanctum did you land?
That's easy. Where the paraglider ended up.
I guess that makes sense. So, outside the ritual curtain, on the side where the moonlight shadows were cast.
But right as I landed, I hit my head on a rock. I lost both my consciousness and my memory.
Something seriously wrong with this guy.
So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident.
Hold it!
You're lucky to be alive after an accident like that.
Yeah, I'm just a lucky kind of guy. It's times like these that separate the men from the boys.
Wow, I'd say you were incredibly lucky. Almost miraculously so.
If you got something to say, just say it.
Alright, Mr. Immus, it wasn't an accident, was it? You landed at the inner sanctum on purpose.
What the? No, it was an accident, I'm telling you. You don't even have any proof, so stop making things up about me.
He says so, it's like a moving target. Okay, Nick, time for some evidence. You know, really grab him by the scruff of his neck. One thing at a time, Maya. First, I have to find an inconsistency. But where there is constantly changing testimony, there are bound to be discrepancies and other issues. So now do we present the weather report? Cold front. Move in overnight. I guess. Sure, let's give it a try, why not?
Objection!
There we go. We have a saying in my country, Mr. Amos. From one lie sprouts another.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
It means someone caught lying will lie again in an attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks.
What did you just say?
You claim gale force winds cause you to lose control, but this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today.
Why, I do believe it does say that.
From one life spot to another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I kind of made that one up. For real? Your Majesty, the witness's testimony contains another flaw. One that's even more fatal to his cause.
More fatal, you say? The defense will explain himself at once.
Mr. Emus claims he was flying up around the inner sanctum with his paraglider, but it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind.
Why, yes, I believe you're right. But we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Amos, how did you get there? And from where?
Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Emus must have launched himself from... here!
Are you insane? That's where he came from?
If he couldn't have come from below, the only other option is from above. So you see... Anonymous came down from Royal Penitentiary number 4. From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest.
What?
Mr. Amos, were you the third party of the inner sanctum? And the one behind the warning to halt the right that the victim received? Was it you we saw in his final memory? Are you the rebel hunter, Lady Kira?
Hey, but Mr. Prosecutor, sir. Help me out here.
You did it. You finally left him speechless.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man.
Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did, in fact, descend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. He didn't even put up a fight this time. That's awfully generous of him. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of Anonymous's true identity. Oh, his true identity? Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something.
It would seem I am the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man we've been calling Anonymous?
The witness's true identity is... Is this really him? Huh, only now do you realize the truth. Well, please do share with us your belated insight. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you holding back? Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Really? Are you sure? Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison, the precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute, only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Da Terrible, a prisoner escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group.
What? The witness is an escaped prisoner?
Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was, under our nose the entire time.
Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise.
But the witness's charade is not all that has been shattered. Is it, defense?
Boy, do I hate this guy.
Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite, but the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
That person was something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira. Yeah, and what's your point? What of the witness's true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Das Erbal, prisoner escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group. Gasp! Oh no! He's a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kira, mortal enemy of the rebels. Hey, come on, man. People change. No! No. Perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this.
Hoo-ha! You got me! I'm the razor-sharp fangs of the Defiant Dragons. Ha. Hoo. Here. Ha. That's terrible!
When did you get your memory back? Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind.
But you gotta give me credit for making all that testimony off the top of my head.
Are you prepared to tell us the truth now?
Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum, but I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the ritual curtain. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie.
A big fat lie!
Oh, by the way, long time no see, Yossi.
Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty, this filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell.
Oh yes, of course. Really? Sees him at once. Seems you really have forgot the will of your dragon, huh, Yati? But I haven't. And no dogs in the Goran regime are gonna lay a finger on me. Alley-oop!
Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed on high alert.
The escaped prisoner escaped again.
The police force has been placed on high alert. He will be caught before long. An escaped prisoner has escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony. Talk about a troublemaker. He really pulled a number on all of us. What was the point of all that anyway?
Well, I can't help but fear that entire episode was an enormous waste of time.
Your Majesty, perhaps it was not as great of a waste as you might believe.
What makes you say that, Prosecutor Zadbadi?
That Arabal dropped something as he made his escape from these holes. That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar. These appear to be direct orders from Dirk.
From Dirk? The rebel leader? Oh, but we only have a small corner of it.
Wait, I remember now. Your Majesty, I have seen that scrap of paper before.
You have?
The scrap of paper that Arabal dropped is a part of... Oh. Is a part of... this!
And this is?
I found it at the scene of the crime. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Arabal dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says.
Oh my! Just what does it say, Mr. Writer?
I can't read your IDs.
Prosecutor Zadbadi, if you please.
The ignorant lawyer has not bothered to learn our language. Very well then.
I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kira's robes and make his escape.
What? That is how he was to escape from prison?
So, if I were to assume that Mr. Herbal was the one who killed the High Priest, then maybe it was because Abbot Indy tried to thwart his escape plan. Oh, foul lawyer, I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous.
Huh? But I didn't say anything!
Did he just read my mind? I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the rebels' escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that Dot Herbal is not the High Priest's killer. How can he be so sure? If only you would use that putrid brain of yours every once in a while. That Herbal's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual. What do you mean? I am speaking of Abbot Indy, of course. Had Dad's Herbal simply donned Lady Kira's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous. But were he by the High Priest's side? The faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have had no cause to suspect anything. It is, therefore, unthinkable that Das Herbal was the High Priest's killer.
So then, you're saying the High Priest was a... Oh, I cannot bear to say it.
I'm afraid it is so. He numbered among the rebels who threaten our kingdom.
How could this be?
The High Priest, a rebel?
There must be some mistake.
Let it go and move on. Accept the truth. It is the only way. And that goes double for you, Defense. Cease your futile battle now. And why should I? Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we have eliminated Dot Herbal from our list of suspects, there is only one person that still remains. The accused, Maya Fey.
Hold it!
Hold it right there. Aren't you forgetting something important?
Something important? Please do explain, Defense.
We can't end this trial without looking into... I'm talking about the true identity of the Lady Kira we saw in the science vision. If that wasn't that terrible, then who was it? That matter has already been resolved. It has? What's he talking about? It is as I have maintained from the start. There was no third party in the seance vision.
Objection!
But there was another Lady Kira there besides Maya Fey. We all saw her. What the? I can't do my finger point.
Yeah!
It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This hardly seems fair. It is quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would he see ahead? Besides
the water itself, there is nothing but the Wombat statue.
Precisely. The Lady Kira we saw in the seance is the Warbot statue draped in her sacred robes. No way! The accused wanted the false Lady Kira to appear in the seance vision. Before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with a dagger in a reverse grip.
But why would the accused want to do something like that? Create a false Lady Kira?
To show it to the victim as he was being slain.
But what reason would the accused have to fool the victim she was about to kill?
It was not the victim she was trying to fool. It was this very court itself.
Come again?
Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Kira was there. And the defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it was a third party in disguise.
Are you saying...
I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the Seance vision to mislead us.
This could be happening.
Alright. I'll be back. Alright, so after we just spent all this time proving that there was a third person there, that the third person parachuted from prison, we revealed the identity of the prisoner, and now somehow we're back to square one again. Back to there being only Maya and the abbots, and Maya being the only possible person to have killed him. So that's not good. What a face you are making, defense. I'm surprised you are taking this so hard. After all, did I not clearly state a while back that you were chasing after naught but a deluded fantasy? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy.
You're telling me he knew this is how it would turn out all the way back then? And that he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it on me?
Do you understand now? I've had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time.
It can't be!
This is an outrage. You took our royal princess's sacred divination séance and used it to commit this most foul and despicable murder?
No, I did nothing of the sort.
Maya.
Nick, it's not true. I didn't...
Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed now that the facts have been exposed. Your Majesty, the time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint the sacred hole.
Indeed, it seems this trial is over.
Hold it!
Does the defense wish to offer up yet another counter argument or something?
The accused is not the killer. And,
Here's why. Now what do I do? I've got nothing.
It would appear that the defense has a lot of arguments to make.
I thought for sure that that rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Kira, has vanished. I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor Salmani's argument. Damn it! I can't lose now. Not like this.
Very well then, I shall now render my verdict.
Wait! Please wait! I'm begging you! It is time to let it go and move on.
This trial need not be drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, this court's find the accused Maya Fey and the defense Phoenix Wright guilty. Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but... What is the meaning of this? A party has been fed in the plaza of devotion, Your Majesty.
What's this? A body. What happened now?
We found the sticky eye of the victim. What, that's Lady Kira's water dagger?
Lady Kira, she has returned from the toilet realm once more.
She has come to defend the rebels. Peace!
Well, it would seem the dagger that was once lost has now been found.
I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Salmani.
Yes.
This dagger... It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it!
What?
What?
with Maya's prince beyond it.
I cannot believe it, yet it must be true.
Is something the matter, prosecutor somebody?
This trial has run its course, and the accused's guilt has been firmly established. However, it would seem the defense was right about one thing.
I was?
You claim that the murder at the inner sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter masquerading as Lady Kira. I did say something to that effect, but what of it?
Prosecutor somebody? Are you suggesting what I think you are?
I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter who has been masquerading as Lady Kira is none other than the accused Miss Maya Fey.
What? Me? What?
I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel hunting Lady Kira was first sighted about 2 years ago, and the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well.
But the timing matches perfectly.
But there's more. That warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the rite. Despite his house being locked up tight that night.
Objection!
How does that prove anything?
Objection!
It is difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there. Mainly to prepare for the purification rite.
Abbot Emmy was an important figure with a ton of duties, including training acolytes. He was really kind, even to a foreigner like me. He even invited me over to his house whenever I was between training sessions.
The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing.
No!
Or, could have been that other fella. Zealot. If we assume that the accused was Lady Kira, that more than establishes her motive for killing the High Priest.
Yes, the victim was secretly an insurgent, bent on helping that Arabon escape after all.
Precisely, that made him a target of Lady Kira's wrath. And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. So, it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have two murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey, masquerading as Lady Kira.
If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of her punishment. In light of this, I believe the second murder must be investigated before we can proceed.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with this second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins.
A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict?
Seems the defense will live to see one more day.
Talk about hanging on by a thread.
Come tomorrow, a far more terrible punishment awaits you.
I hereby suspend these proceedings so that the second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned. To be continued.